For today's headlines, all out for Go-Duterte. Leni won Sambayan's pick. Jab mandate Rody's option. Duterte eyes U.S. visit to thank American government for COVID-19 vaccine donation. Malasakit helps communities in Leyte. Gyms may now reopen in National Capital Region. No Undas Manila cemetery visits. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Cue. Today is October 1, 2021 and these are the latest news this Friday morning. The tandem of Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo and President Rodrigo Duterte for the 2022 national elections has 100% support from members of the Kusi wing of Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan, a party official said on Thursday. PDP Laban Secretary General Melvin Matibag said in an interview with Daily Tribune's Gising Na morning program that when they issued the certificate of nomination and acceptance to their candidates 2 weeks ago, the governors, mayors, and congressmen have expressed their 100% support to the Go-Duterte tandem. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, meanwhile, revealed in his regular briefing that the president has affixed his signature on a COC and a CONA. The Commission on Elections require the COC from an individual candidate, while the CONA is provided by a political party, which in Mr. Duterte's case is PDP Laban. In the latest Pulse Asia pre-poll survey, Go ranked 9th with 3% for the choice of the president, while Duterte dropped to a second place with 14%. Senate President Vicente Tito Soto III replaced him as a top vice presidential pick with 25%. Mr. Duterte used to lead the vice presidential race in the previous Pulse Asia survey conducted in July, while Soto only ranked 3rd. Matibag revealed that the reason why Go had a relatively low rating is that he has not declared his presidential bid yet. He added that the same reason could explain why Duterte's survey number suffered. Matibag pointed out that the survey results that should be close to the real public pulse will come out after the filing of the COC. Go and Duterte have been nominated by the PDP Laban as standard bearers of the party. While Go has yet to accept the nomination, Duterte indicated being firm about seeking the VP post by signing the COC and the CONA. Despite this, Kusi's faction is hopeful that Go will finally accept the nomination. Jockeying for the top positions in next year's polls ratcheted a few notches higher yesterday as Coalition One Sambayan formally endorsed Vice President Leni Robredo as its presidential bet. Former Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, a convener of One Sambayan, announced in a Zoom meeting with media that Robredo won by an overwhelming majority of votes cast by the coalition's over 3 million members. The choice of Robredo as One Sambayan's presidential candidate was said to have been made through consultations with 123 organizations and coalitions, 48 local chapters, 22 foreign chapters, and 12 youth chapters. A list of aspirants went through a voting process whose criteria included a clean track record, upright stand on key issues, platforms, and winnability. Carpio said that in the remote event that Robredo declines the endorsement, One Sambayan will reconvene and discuss the matter. Vice President Leni Robredo thanked the One Sambayan for the nomination, but she remained iffy. She also admitted that the president's job is not an easy job, as it carries a lot of responsibilities, including the lives and future of the nation. Robredo urged the public to join her in praying more for her to come up with a decision that is best for the country. However, she said that running for president should not be driven by ambition or pressure from other people. As to who will be its vice presidential and senatorial candidates, Carpio said the group will help Robredo choose them after she accepts the nomination. Compulsory vaccination in the executive branch is possible through an administrative issuance of President Rodrigo Duterte. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, in answer to a query about the recent pronouncement of the president on mandatory vaccination, said, for theoretical discussion only if the president imposes compulsory anti-COVID vaccination in the executive branch by way of an administrative issuance. He is doing so precisely as chief executive who exercises control and supervision over the executive branch and not pursuant to police power. Earlier, Guevara, while acknowledging Mr. Duterte's invocation of police power to compel people to get vaccinated, mentioned the need for a law making anti-COVID-19 vaccination mandatory. The Justice Chief qualified that in the absence of an expressed law, the government can only use moral suasion to encourage mass vaccination. The president correctly invoked police power as basis to compel anti-COVID vaccination for everyone except those who have valid reasons. The power rests upon the inherent right of the state and the people to self-protection. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders. We're back on Tribune News on Q. And just came in a field report from Gab Villegas. Here is a list of candidates who filed COC as of 9:32 a.m. But for president, we have Manny Pacquiao and Coach Dave Aguila. For vice president, we have Representative Lito Atienza. For senators, we have Attorney Lutgardo Barbo, Representative Lauren Regarda, Governor Cheese Escudero, represented by Attorney George Garcia. And for the party lists, we have the AGAP party list and Kabayan party list. In other news, President Rodrigo Duterte is considering visiting the United States before his term ends to personally thank the American government for donating anti-coronavirus vaccines to the Philippines. Duterte, during his public address Thursday night, praised Washington after officials had confirmed to him that the U.S. would send 5 million more COVID-19 vaccine shots. It was a stance he has rarely taken toward the superpower since he became president, even if he has repeatedly praised Beijing for its COVID-19 vaccine donation to the Philippines. Duterte even said in his final State of the Nation address in July that he would not visit the U.S., one of the country's oldest allies. Last month, U.S. President Joe Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met with Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin and Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana to mark the 70th anniversary of Manila and Washington's Mutual Defense Treaty. During their meeting, Sullivan said Washington would provide an additional $11.3 million in COVID-19 assistance to Manila, raising its total COVID-19 assistance to the Philippines to $37 million, on top of millions of jabs it had shipped to the country. The Philippines has so far received more than 71 million COVID-19 vaccine doses, according to the latest government data. Some 21.1 million Filipinos have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 since the government rolled out its inoculation program last March. Meanwhile, 24.04 million individuals were still waiting for their second doses. Committed to bringing necessary aid to vulnerable sector groups, Senator Christopher Bongo reminded the public to focus on their health as the government continues to balance the need to protect the well-being of Filipinos while slowly reopening the economy amid the ongoing threats caused by the pandemic. In his video message during the relief operations organized in the towns of Leyte, Capoocan, and Carigara in the province of Leyte on September 27, Go, who serves as the chair of Senate Committee on Health and Demography, urged the residents to continue supporting the government's vaccination efforts by participating in the National Inoculation Program. He then offered medical assistance to those with health concerns as the senator encouraged them to visit any of the 5 Malasakit centers in the province. Go's team distributed relief items such as meals, masks, face shields, and vitamins to a total of 1,500 vulnerable residents. The senator also gave new pairs of shoes and bicycles to some recipients, while others received computer tablets that their children may utilize during their classes under the blended learning approach. Personnel from the Department of Social Welfare and Development gave financial support through its Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation program. Meanwhile, the Department of Trade and Industry and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority assessed potential beneficiaries for the respective support programs. Gyms and fitness studios in Metro Manila may now reopen, while personal care services and restaurants with dine-in facilities may accommodate more customers starting Friday, October 1, according to Malacanang. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque announced Thursday, September 30, that the National Pandemic Task Force has approved the reopening of gyms at a limited 20% capacity for fully vaccinated individuals. The establishment's employees should likewise be vaccinated and wear masks at all times. No group activities will be allowed, Roque added. He said establishments currently operating and which have received the government's Safety Seal certification are allowed to accommodate 10% more customers. But Roque did not say whether Metro Manila will remain on its current quarantine classification alert level 4, pointing out that the Health Department has the final say on the matter. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, on the other hand, told reporters in a separate message that Alert Level 4 will be extended in the capital region until October 15. What is certain at press time is that the new alert level system introduced by the task force will remain in Metro Manila and that more establishments are allowed to operate. Since mid-September, the capital region has been on Alert Level 4, the second strictest quarantine measure in the 5-tier lockdown scheme set by the government. Alert Level 4 refers to areas where COVID case counts are either high or increasing, with high bed and intensive care unit utilization rates. On the other hand, other regions and provinces will remain on the existing 4-tier lockdown classification in the next 2 weeks. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
It's time for the world to know. Outstanding Filipinos in America. The 11th Outstanding Filipinos in America Awards 2021. A salute to the heroes of coronavirus. Coming back live in person at Carnegie Hall in New York City, home of the TOFA Awards since 2011.
Magpabakuna kayo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magpabakuna kayo. Magpabakuna kayo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Chinky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments dito sa ating programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Magpabakuna kayo.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. In other news, Mayor Francisco Escoboreno Domagoso has ordered the temporary closure of all public and private cemeteries on Calabarias in Manila from October 29 to November 3 to stop the spread of COVID-19. The dates of temporary closure will ensure that no All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day commemoration on November 1 to 2 would take place inside cemeteries and memorial parks. Domagoso signed on Wednesday night Executive Order 33 pertaining to the closure addressed to, among others, Manila North Cemetery Chief Yayay Castaneda, Manila South Cemetery Head Jess Payad, and Manila Muslim Cemetery Chief Dr. Arnold Pangan. Pangan is concurrently the Manila Health Department Chief in charge of the city's vaccination drive and management of district hospitals. With people still expected to come to the cemeteries before and after the closure dates, Domagoso tasked Manila Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office Chief Arnold Angeles, Department of Public Services Head Kenneth Amorao, and Manila Traffic and Parking Bureau Director Dennis Viaje to ensure order and adherence to health protocols. The Manila North Cemetery is the biggest in the country, and during the period of closure, only interment and cremation services for non-COVID cases shall be allowed subject to regulations put in place by the national government. The mayor said he made the announcement a month before Undas to stop the surge in visitors in the cemeteries. He urged the public to pay their respect to their departed loved ones ahead of time, to do away with overcrowding or to light candles for them and utter prayers at home. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning!